Okay guys, I'm here today with Glyn Polish, huge honor for me. He lives in near Manchester in UK, and you have a school over near there.
SPG Rotterdam.
Yes. Today he's going to show us here some of his favorite moves to attack and defend leg locks. So he has some tricks that he used, and I'm very excited to learn from you.
Thank you, Bernardo. Yeah, so let's say that we're doing leg locks for the first time. Often I'm watching instructionals, and you see elite players, and there's so many details, and then we go and start to try and learn them. And particularly when we've got people, more beginners, it can be a struggle actually. Just at the game, there's like a lot of moving parts and trying to get in and actually make things work. So if Bernardo's taking me in just a straight ankle lock, just to begin with, okay, a lot of the time we get some great details. But one key thing is, I got this from John Frankel, is that when he talks about the hip, rather than talking about the hip when we're doing leg locks, he talks about the iliac crest and the sitting bone. These are the two heads of the hip. So one of the things that we can all do just to tighten up a straight ankle lock to begin with when we're first kind of learning it is, Bernardo's got like a great position here on my iliac crest, and I can almost as well, like I can coach him because I can feel where my sitting bone is. So if he's, say for example, feels a little bit off, I want him to really wedge that shin bone right into my sitting bone, and he's like feeling that immediately. This is already starting to improve. Obviously we can pinch the knees and so on, and then the other thing that he wants to do is just bring his sitting bones in closer towards me. So he can put his hand behind, for example, I can do the same kind of thing. We use this backhand, so I'll do the ankle look. So like, I'm really trying to feel that sitting bone all the way through when we're just kind of playing to begin with. If I'm struggling to feel it, Bernardo can kind of like just adjust and tell me where to go, because he can feel the sitting bone even more. So if I'm a little bit off, we can feel that. So I'm trying to get on that iliac, and obviously then we're pinching. But it might be that Bernardo feels that, and this is like, even if imagine Bernardo had never trained really these things before, we really just want him thinking about this iliac and this sitting bone all the time in leg locks, because this is useful for him defensively. So if I start to move myself in, Bernardo will probably feel that the control gets a little bit better. I can just adjust and so on, and try and pinch the knees. Every time I lose that, I'm losing position. So if Bernardo wants to start to free this position, there's a couple of things he can do. He can start to push the classic pushing this off. And the key thing is, it's not just really about pushing off and putting weight and so on, but it's actually thinking about, he's actually freeing his iliac crest. That's the key thing. If he frees that iliac crest now, he can hip extend, he can throw his hips forward, he can move. And so we can start to see why people then come into these more complex positions like the honey hole or whatever. And like here, like what are the problems that we immediately see? People are going to look at this and go, oh, it's horrible and loose. So if I want to tighten, if I want to start tightening this position up, because I'm learning to begin with, I want to be thinking again about this iliac. How much space do I have between my shin bone and his iliac, right? And I'm acknowledging this horrible position, right? I don't have any control. But this is the first problem. We want to be specific about the problems here. That is the first problem. That's the insurance Bernardo has right now. If I start to work my way in, immediately this tightens. And it's just tightening because my knee is getting closer to his hip. Now obviously when we're practicing these, and most of us have day jobs, right? We don't want to get hurt, we don't want to get injured. But like, Bernardo can begin just to defend this position by just pushing away. And the reason this push is working, it's a great frame, is because this iliac is becoming free. Okay? So if I'm basically, when I'm trying to tighten up a leg lock as I'm learning these positions, I just want to be thinking about like that one leg.
Covering this gap over here.
Covering this gap.
It's a very interesting way of
you
thinking.
feel it. So we're getting to the iliac, and then if I want to tighten it a little bit more, I just go here.
Good.
And already that leg now is tightening. And Bernardo needs to just do the exact opposite things here.
Oh, that's a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
Has your thought on this? Like, we are all doing this without realizing, so now you're conceptualizing this certain way.
100%. Now, John Frankel got me onto this about the iliac, and then I started to think, well, this is a beautiful concept on the iliac.
Yeah.
What's the other head of the hip? It's the sitting bone.
Yeah.
And so the other option is, let's say somehow like you're up against some incredible leg locker, right? You might have some kind of like relative to your game, and maybe way better than you, they've got that pin. The other thing you can do, of course, and this is a classic escape that we see back in the day with Vale Tudo guys, they go here and they push the leg.
Yeah.
But I don't want people just thinking about, oh, we just push the leg in the technique. We want to be thinking about, why is that actually helping?
Yeah.
And it's helping because you're freeing that sitting bone.
Yeah.
So this ends up the thing that we could start going into 50-50 positions. I don't do a lot of 50-50, I don't train it. But when I think about like the position, if I felt I wanted to tighten it because I feel I'm winning, when I start to bring my sitting bones to the sitting bone and I wedge it in, I'm feeling for this iliac, everything tightens. Everything tightens. This is why these guys are doing this. They're tightening, they're trying to tighten the iliac, they're trying to tighten the sitting bone, they're trying to sitting bone to sitting bone. And then the nice thing about this is then for Bernardo, this was like the first time he'd done these, so obviously it's not. But like if it was, he just starts thinking about like, if he pushes his hips forwards, the reason that bridging might help would be it brings his iliac. Here he's turning his sitting bone away from my sitting bone. So he tries to yeah, go on, do what you did. Because you just started moving that way, right? You're starting to escape your sitting bone.
Yeah.
So if I want to try to keep the position, I really have got to try and get my sitting bone back to a sitting bone, and I've got to try and get something around that iliac.
Okay.
That's what I'm really trying to do.
Yeah.
And what I found that like why those inverted heel hooks I think are so prominent at the highest level. I mean, they're obviously the most effective, but it's just a degree of pin around that iliac and that sitting bone. Yeah. So if we start thinking along those lines, it's going to help us think about. We can't like know 100 escapes or whatever. There's so much stuff going on. But if we think about freeing our iliac and our sitting bone when we're defending, and we think about if we're trying to do a leg lock and begin learning them, we think about our iliac and our sitting bone.
No, very interesting. And when I'm defending leg locks, especially the new ones you opened it up, my goal is also clear the knee line.
Right.
Like, but now there's one more concept here, like clear this and the knee line. No, this was fascinating. I had never thought about this angle, but it makes total sense. So I'm gonna start thinking about it. Yeah. Oh, Glyn, and another thing that you do for the Jiu-Jitsu community is like marketing for Jiu-Jitsu school owners, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we have a company called Juiz de Fora. So we've been working with a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools in order to improve their marketing. And the real key factor that we have that differentiates us from everyone else is we track all the way through from membership. So we go from click to membership. So we're not really interested in sending people lots of leads that half of them they can't get hold of, and then they turn out to be not very good leads. We track memberships all the way through, and then we work back and optimize. So we always optimize the membership.
That's awesome. No, that's really, really cool. Yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. And guys, we're here at the IBJJF Addicts Retreat in the Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire. Glyn is one of the guests, and he's black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, as you guys saw. And I hope to see one of you guys here next time. So thank you, Glyn.
Thank you, Bernardo.
Thanks. Please help me out to grow my YouTube channel. Just click subscribe. And to watch more videos, just click under see more videos. I hope you enjoyed.
BJJFanatics.com. Use the promo code YouTubeFaria to get 10% off any instructional video. Improve your jiu-jitsu faster.